are Tilly and Felix from Virgin Radio, and we are here with everybody's favourite secret priest, Lisa, from the Traitors. Hello, Lisa, how are you?
Hi Tilly, hi Felix. It's nice to be with you.
And thank you so much for being with us. We can't wait to chat to you. We have to go straight in, Lisa. The first question on our lips was, how has it been being back in church with everybody knowing that you have been on the Traitors? What's that been like?
It's been really interesting, and people not necessarily picking their moments to come up and tell me that they've seen the show, just before I'm about to take Holy Communion.
Yeah.
But not really setting the tone. But it's been good. Everyone's been really lovely. They've been really supportive. They've been so excited for me. And just delighted that I had the opportunity to do it. So I've had nothing but positive feedback so far.
Oh, I'm so
Amazing.
glad.
So fair to say you shocked the castle when you revealed yourself to be a priest. How come you chose to not do this earlier? Why did you keep it back, and what made you want to reveal it when you did?
So initially going into the castle, I thought if I revealed straight away that I was a woman of the cloth, and a priest, that it would put a target on my back straight away. It was a bit like Leanne not wanting to say she was in the army. I mean, what greater thing, you have a priest go into a murder mystery game, and it's kind of likely that you're going to be picked for a traitor, and it would make an obvious thing. So I thought, probably not sensible right at the start.
And when you did reveal you were a priest, Lisa, how did the other contestants react? And are you glad you told them when you did?
How they reacted? It was pretty much stunned silence, I think.
That's what we saw. Yeah, it was an insane
I'm not sure
reveal.
that they knew what was happening, and there was this sort of like feeling of shock reverberating around the room, with Linda going, "Wow," because obviously Linda was a really good friend of mine, and we got on really, really well. So I hadn't disclosed it to her at all. So yeah, I think she was shocked initially. So yeah, it was that stunned silence, and then of course I think it was Joe who said to me, "Why did you come into a game like this?" And it's true what I said. Most self-respecting murder mysteries have always got a priest in it. I mean, you sort of like just go back, and it just seemed a logical thing to do at the time.
It's true, and it must have felt like such a great moment knowing you had that to reveal and dropping that on the rest of the contestants.
Well, it did, but it kind of went better in my head, if I'm honest. It didn't quite come out the way that I thought it might. And it was all done really suddenly, because I'd been in the bar with Frankie, and Frankie had started questioning me about the whole God references and, wearing a crucifix, and was I being sort of a bit liberal with my faith, etc. And I thought, okay, I've had enough of this. Now's the time to try and flip it on its head and go and tell them all, and hopefully by doing that turn the tide of suspicion away from myself. And I was very fortunate in as much as that worked, whereas I thought if I went in and revealed that I was revealed that I was a priest, then initially that would put a target on my back, but to flip it the other way, and I think it worked, because I kind of went, my aim was to go under the radar the whole time, be a bit of the grey man, be a bit undetected. And I think that worked for that. It kind of turned it on its head, and I, again, sort of like slipped into mild obscurity.
Yeah, I love it. And you mentioned earlier your relationship with Linda. We have to ask about that. It seemed like you formed such a lovely friendship, and it was a joy to watch. How easy is it to make those bonds in there? Because surely you can't trust anyone, and then in the end, Linda revealed herself to be a traitor. Is it difficult to make those friendships, or does it just come naturally?
No, I think it just comes naturally. I mean, Linda and I migrated towards each other right from the very start. And I think we looked at each other as soon as we entered the castle and thought, oh, thank goodness there's someone else here that was the same age, so that we could sort of share experiences and things. Making friendships in the castle isn't difficult. Maintaining them in a weird kind of way is, when you go on the missions, you're developing those friendships, you're developing bonds and relationships, and you're making things work. But then when you sit at the round table, you're just pulling all of those apart. So you're on one hand, you're making these really great connections with people, and then you've got to sit at the round table and pretty much destroy a lot of what you built. And that was the hardest part, I think. That was really difficult. And with Linda, okay, I'd had my suspicions about Linda right from the get-go, but they were mild suspicions. And I thought, you know what? I really love her. We're getting on great. I'm prepared to let this ride and see where it goes. So there we have it.
And speaking of the round table, such a brutal place, but in your final round table, Lisa, you were spot on with your suggestions of who you thought the traitors might be. Do you think that played a part in why they murdered you in the end?
Oh, definitely. They said, you know, in the following program, you know, Lisa's obviously observing more than we gave her credit for, and that goes back to my initial game plan, if you like, of wanting to be the grey person and just sort of blending into the background, being there and everyone knowing that I'm there, but just not standing out too much. That could also have a negative consequence, of course, whereas lots of people were in groups discussing things and I was kind of drifting around a bit. So maybe I didn't hear all the conversations that were going on. But yeah, I clocked Mina. And well, no, clocked Charlotte actually, and because I picked her at the round table purely from the basis that I thought she would make a brilliant traitor. That was my only reason for picking her initially. And then as time went on and it got to that, you know, that program, and I thought she's become steelier. You know, she's become more. There was a sort of determination. It was nuances in the way that she was behaving, and I thought, you know what, you're definitely a traitor. I've got you.
It's so interesting, isn't it? Kind of that wanting to stay quiet, but as we get to this part of the game, you kind of have to speak up at some point, and then you do that, and then it's the end. So it must be so difficult to play it, but it does make for such a brilliant watch, which is it was amazing.
Yeah, you have to pick your moments. I didn't pick mine properly, but you have to you have to pick your moments.
You could argue you were just too good at the game, Lisa. Yeah. It was your downfall in the end.
Yeah, I think on that occasion my timing was off. Definitely.
Well, what's it been like since you filmed it now, watching the public reacting to it? Because it's just one of those shows, it's such a water cooler moment and everyone loves it and we all talk about it so much. How has the reaction differed from what you might have expected?
It's been slightly strange because we obviously filmed it some time ago, and so we all went back to normal life.
Yeah.
And we were living in our normal obscurity, if you like.
Yeah.
And then suddenly there's this sort of fervour around the programmes, and it's fantastic to see the enthusiasm that there is for the actual programme itself and for the game and how people love it. It's been phenomenal, and this season, you know, it's been more successful in the ratings than previous seasons, so it's been exceptional, and it's really exciting to watch. And I love seeing all the people that I was in the castle with. I've seen them on radio podcasts, I've seen them on the TV. It's great. I tend to get recognized in public toilets. Which
exclusively, or
well, not completely exclusively, but public toilets in particular, which as a priest is probably not the vibe I'm going for.
It's very true. At least social media absolutely loved you from the start. There was that VT right at the start, which people just fell in love with, and the idea of having a priest on the Traitors, it just sent people mad. What's been your favourite thing you've seen online since being in the show? There's so much funny stuff out there.
Oh, there was a meme with me opening the letter where I'd been murdered on online, saying that the king has written to Reverend Lisa Coupland announcing that she's to be the next Archbishop of Canterbury. So that chuckled me quite a lot. And then there was a couple of other things that have been equally hilarious. Rumours that I'm Alex's mum.
We've heard this. Yeah.
We were going to ask.
That would be a joy if I were.
Oh.
And the fact that Linda and I are secretly sisters, or we're in a relationship.
I hadn't heard that rumour, but now I see.
Yeah.
You could be sisters.
I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
I love it. And finally, we've got to ask, at this point in the game, who do you want to be your winner?
Oh, that's like picking who's your favourite child.
You could give us your top 3 if that's easier.
Okay.
Is your favourite child Alex?
Yeah, he's not going to win. I don't think there's any spoilers there. Alexander. Oh, I don't know. It's really difficult. Really difficult. I think probably if I had to pick one, Alexander, because I met him on the platform. Mina, I think, is playing an absolute blinding game.
Yeah.
As a traitor, she has been phenomenal. And probably Frankie, because, you know, she's doing it for the mums.
Yeah.
She's doing it for all the mums out there, and to say, yeah, you're not just a mum, you're your own person as well. And she's doing it to make her boys proud. So go her.
Oh.